Hey, good evening. It is 7:35 p.m. It is October 24th, and it's Friday evening, and I hope you're having a wonderful Friday evening and plenty of activities and things to do and whatnot, okay? So I pretty much had a relaxed day for the most part. I kind of watched some videos, and then I just kind of did some artwork, and I really didn't do a whole lot. I really felt like it was a good time for me to just like actually have a day of leisure, and I felt as though I deserved it. So I wanted to kind of go over some intuitive messages that I have. Um, Really, it has the intuitive message that I'm getting is that I got a message in my mind that just popped in my mind, okay, spontaneously, random, about people, like maybe people losing their jobs outside of Bakersfield who might have been a part of the Obese Woman Network. And I know that my sister had orchestrated a lot of women against me here in the state of California, in Bakersfield, and I do believe this could be something that may have spread, just like the other vigilantes for issues relating to religion, which they're using religion as an excuse to promote their obese vigilante group and their agenda throughout the different states. So I do suspect that might be happening, but I do get this intuitive message that people from the state of California have been terminated. Now I know that I had wanted to submit my project to the state of California. This is with the Autodidacts project. I had noticed that I obviously get shadow banned on YouTube. I also deal with, other forms of limitations that this particular group that was originated by with my sister, as well as the Collins group, and everyone else has been involved in this. So, and they also have infiltrated, things relating to my personal things. They took it upon themselves to get in touch with my credit card company and reduce my limit for no apparent reason. They've done all kinds of things and have access to it, and people allowed this to happen, okay? We all know that the reason why we have things like PIN numbers and passcodes when we talk to representatives from banks and financial institutions or public assistance organizations, they're there for a reason. So imagine having this silent network that infiltrates, okay, and a bunch of employees in different locations, whether that be credit card companies, maybe, what do you call it? Credit card companies, your unemployment agencies, and whatever, all grouping together. Now, I do get the message that these groups used to meet a lot, like they would communicate a lot, and for a long, long time, I have been the focus of a lot of people's attention. I do not believe that I am the only one targeted. I do believe that there's overweight women target a lot of women who they feel competitive to. Okay. And so instead of them, drawing back on what they claim to be educated people, because if they were educated people, they would have known that, number one, that this is, the incorrect behavior. Okay. From a psychological standpoint, it shows that they are immature. Okay. And it also shows to me that they are pathological, because I have given people instructions on the dangers of this, and yet they persist on doing it. And see, this is one of the main reasons why I talk about people who have and struggle with their self esteem issues, okay? Because when people have a deep hatred for themselves, it gets out of control. And I do believe that this is one of the issues that we're looking at. So let me explain to women who might be people who take care of themselves. I saw a video of a girl. I didn't watch the video, mind you, but I did see the title of it. It was talking about how she was scared because she didn't have a job and she was a single mother. I will tell you, when it comes to these women who have very low self-esteem, they do not have any sympathy for single mothers or women who are struggling to raise their kid. They don't care if you're dealing with any sort of medical illness. They don't care if you lost your whole family. As a matter of fact, they plot together to make sure that your entire life becomes ruined. They feed off of this sort of stuff, and they use religion as justification for the kind of cruelty that they inflict on other people. I kid you not. And see, when you deal with these unhappy people grouping together, then we have this group psychosis. We also have religious delusions, because they do not want to take any accountability for themselves. And see, this is what I'm talking about. It's like enough is enough. I've stayed silent about this issue for many years. Now, mind you, it's never escalated to this point. It's never escalated to this point to where we have, people who openly admit and then enjoy these sort of meetings and huddles and group activities on ganging up on other people. Now it is becoming a big issue, and it's affecting a lot of people. And yes, they have infiltrated things like the federal and state type buildings. This is a very orchestrated, highly spread out crime crime syndicate, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of overweight women. Okay, and I know that a lot of people were participant of it, especially in the beginning. I know that I got in messages that a lot of people have committed suicide because of this. A lot of people who have been found out have become extremely ashamed of themselves, and they do not want to deal with the social ramifications. I find it quite interesting that the first tactic that these people are willing to enact on other people are humiliation tactics. You know why? Because this is the sort of step that they know kills them. Okay, humiliating these people kills these people instantly. They want to kill themselves almost immediately after they're found out because they understand that they couldn't tolerate this. Well, they mess with the wrong person. Okay, it seems like these people have been doing these sort of ridiculous things to me throughout my lifetimes. Okay, and now I've caught on to their game. Also, I understand the law, and I can tell when things do not go in a certain order. Like I understand what I should expect when it comes to customer service. I understand what it should expect. And I understand there's a lot of inexperienced people or people who are doing their jobs only because they need to get paid, okay? But there's certain things about people. People don't understand. I can read you, okay? I can read you. So when I deal with people being hesitant or whatever, I understand. I'm sorry, and I know this sounds very terrible, and I've already gone through this, okay? I do not trust overweight people. I do not trust them. I could not trust him. I will never trust them. And if you are smart, you will not trust them either. Why? Because these people are in a constant, perpetual state of self-hatred, constant comparing themselves to other people, and they will plot against you. They will plot against you like you will not believe. And I, at this point, have no interest in protecting the identities of these people at all. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to talk about. I do understand that the Masons are supporting me in their own way here in this community as well as around the world. I want to say I thank you. Okay. I have struggled a lot with this issue, and I realized I remember getting very emotional a couple of days ago on a video. I don't even know if I uploaded it, okay? But anyway, I was really upset about me coming to understand how deep and dark my sister had it in for me. Like, I remember back I think it was 2008, or maybe it was earlier than that. No. It was right when after I moved back here to Bakersfield, so it was 2009. It's after I left organized sports, okay? And I remember I had moved into an apartment, and I was talking on the phone to a cousin on my father's side that I had never spoken to before, right? And apparently I got this message that I got in my mind about this conversation that I had with her was that my sister had already talked to this person, this cousin that I had never really got a chance to know, and she was already like putting stuff into her mind because this cousin was saying things like, talking about torturing people, tearing people's eyes out, and it seemed like I was really uncomfortable with it. But I can tell that my sister has always been somebody who has talked behind my back and socialized with people who struggle with their self-esteem, and she actually made her reputation on this sort of behavior. This is why I'm telling you that if you hate yourself, you are a toxic to society. I am serious. I kid you not. If you struggle with your issues, then you need to do something about it. But I'm saying people are getting tired of dealing with your problems, and you have no right to inflict that sort of harm on somebody else, okay? Anyway, what other message do I have for you? I understand that, I wanted to address my soul tribe, okay? And I will be talking more about these issues about our awakening in the upcoming newsletter, okay? But I understand, some of us have become awakened, right? And I know I had my awakening in 2023 when I found out, this whole Prince Alamehu weird stuff. And then, I created these spreads, these card spreads, and I wanted to get down to my past lives for many, many, many years, okay? Okay, I do believe that this part of awakening, us coming to realize who we really are, is a part of what the new world is. Yeah, new world order. It's just a part of it, really. It's just a very small part of it. But I have to say, it is a very inhumane process, But especially when you come to when I think about uh, how how treacherous the work life is, okay, and because of people like these obese women, vigilantes, the mental illness of these sort of people, the kind of garbage you have to deal with just to get a job and then try to keep a job, and then and then dealing with these unprofessional people, the constant bickering that's going on within people, and then out projecting. And to think that somebody would deliberately bring you back on this planet is like, oh my God, are you kidding me? There's got to be better. And that's why I'm saying is society has to improve itself, because this is unlivable. It's unlivable. You know what I mean? It's unlivable. I think that it's obviously an issue of self elevation, trying to understand your divine purpose in life, and living it out to your full potential, and talking about setting boundaries, talk about letting yourself have the right to live your life without being bullied all the time. You know what I mean? And switching all of this around, it's an absolute nightmare. Okay, so anyway, I think that's really all I wanted to say. I also I got the intuitive message that I understand that my sister Lisa, because I mean the whole Lisa thing really, it hurt a lot, because that was my sister, and she was the sister that I grew up with. I mean, like, I shared a room with her. Growing up, we would take baths together. Our mom would put us in the bath together. We'd go out in the backyard. We would spend many hours together. And so a lot of people don't realize that just because that's your sibling, okay, even though that's not my really sibling, but the whole adoption thing, whatever. But that does not mean that your concern for that person is going to be reciprocated. I realize now how competitive my sister was. I understand now that she hated her life. You know what I mean? And my sister did not know how to deal with her problems. And see, I had a mother who was not capable of giving out good life lessons or setting example. I would say my mom was an agoraphobic person. She struggled with her weight. She hated herself. I remember her standing out by the window with binoculars, looking at this particular neighbor that we had, and just talking about, like, she would just be walking hand in hand, down the street with her husband, and my mom is like, who does she think she is? And blah, 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 blah. I kept thinking, oh my goodness, my mom's jealous, okay? But I didn't realize how jealous, what kind of a problem she had. See, my mom didn't have any problems. I do believe that my mother was very excited about joining my sister in my harassment campaign. Why? Because she hated herself, okay? With people in general, okay? Not just women, but a lot of people hate themselves. They deal with their own issues. This is why I fully believe in, looking into your hobbies, expanding yourself, improving your life in ways where you feel connected, finding things that are good about yourself. Start that way. Start small and build yourself up, okay? Because honestly, people should not have to pay the price for these sort of social cancers. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I could go to the extreme, I would remove these people immediately. You know what I mean? And I would make examples of these people who think it's okay to, gang stalk people, to blacklist people. I know that this issue is very serious. So if you are a business owner, even this is, I believe it's affecting state departments, agencies, federal agencies as well. There's ways that you can conduct audits. Are they exchanging emails on the company computer? Relating to blacklisting people. If they have if you're working in a company that manages special accounts, right? If you look at a particular account, are there certain notes in there? Is there something going on? Okay. I mean, some of this could be within your control to monitor. It's sad, but a lot of people are going to have to be purged out of their jobs, because people really, this sort of thing should never happen. And if they were truly educated on laws, You know what I mean? And seriously, to me, I would say business administration should cover the laws of each state, federal law on the federal level or whatever. And this to me shows and proves their incompetence. And I've said this before, and I know that throughout my life, my family had such resentment for me. This is one of the reasons why they struggle to see me for what I am. Throughout my entire life, I have been told to shut up, to, I was stupid. They would insist on saying me as somebody who, wasn't worth listening to. And the reason why they said this is because they did not want to accept it, and they flat out ignored it. They flat out ignored it with trying to constantly keep me quiet, constantly, belittling the things I did because they felt very envious of me. So now we got to this point to where I was recognizing the stuff that they've caused me, and they have never seen me behave in such an adult manner. They have never seen me deal with something serious before. Okay, because they always knew that I was the girl who was always laughing, I was always telling jokes, and believe me, I'm still a humorous person, okay? But I used to keep all my serious thoughts to myself. Why? Because you're going to show who you are in different environments. I understood, like my family, anytime I talked about something serious, like for example, reincarnation, or, the possibility of, coming back again, or, just anything, okay? Anything that was worth listening to, right? They would shut it down. They would shut it down, okay? Or they would call me a know-it-all or something along those lines, right? So it's like, if you see somebody their entire life this way, they prevent you from expressing who you truly are. Then now they see me as an adult after they've created all of this, and yes, there are consequences to this. Okay, you cannot, and anybody who was in a position of like a manager, a business owner, somebody who claims to be more educated than me, because I know this is something they want to cram down my throat constantly, okay? All of these people who got involved, including the lawyers in this community, to me have proven themselves incompetent, okay? If not incompetent, then outright corrupt. So, like I said, and I don't want to go on and on and on about this issue, but I'm saying is that if you are somebody who works in a management position, if you are a business owner, if you work for a state or a federal agency, you need to start doing some auditing and start paying attention. Okay, and as a matter of fact, you may want to start having a department, that might periodically, review company emails. Okay, your employees should not be sending out gossip emails or any of that sort of stuff on company time. This includes their company-owned cell phones, etc. You know what I mean? You have control over that. That is not theirs. Okay, you have the right to look at these company issue things anytime you want to. It's your company property, okay? And you want to make sure that you're keeping your company name clean. All right, so I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm in my pajamas, and I'm just kind of resting for the rest of the night, but I wanted to say that because it was on my mind, and I understand that, I've seen too many people take things. They think that they can make a game out of people's lives. Okay, I am not going to let people do that to me. I am not going to let people do that to me, and I'm going to hold people accountable. I'm going to hold people accountable. I do not care. I do not have any sympathy for these people, and the reason why I don't have any sympathy for these people is because they knew better. Okay, they've heard it for years and years and years and years and years. They knew better. There is no sympathy with them. So I think intuitive message that a lot of these people committed suicide. A lot of these people are homeless, and all I can tell you is they got their just desserts. I'm going to wrap up this video, and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Good night.